there, and welcome to the Animag podcast.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Animag, the #1 anime podcast on the planet that's guaranteed to come straight from Earth, baby. I'm your host, Asylum, sitting here with
Domicus.
And boy, oh boy, does it feel good to be back.
It does. It's been a while.
For the listener, we literally had no time off because we did upload last week. But for us, we had somewhat of a small break in between all this. And we enjoyed a con. We put the con episode out. But it's good to be back doing a show, you know?
Yeah, until we gotta go to December to another con.
Yeah, that's gonna be a thing because we'll probably still be working on this season while we're doing that con. So that tends to get a bit hectic, but we do it all for you guys.
Do it all.
So we are talking none other than finally Chainsaw Man, baby.
Woo!
And here's the thing, okay? There is a thing with this. Domicus and I kind of did fuck ourselves.
No, we did. I fucked myself.
I could stop where I'm at and just, let the show take into it, but we bought the mangas. I'll just tell y'all. We bought the mangas. Domicus read through all the way, finished book 11, and I'm currently on book 7, and I do have plans to read to 11. And that is gonna make doing this season very hard for us, because there's certain things that I'm gonna want to say that we can't say because it's too big of a spoiler, you know?
Well, the plan was just to read one book, but it was just so goddamn interesting.
Yes, you can't. As soon as you finish chapter 1, it's like, all right, I'll dive in a little deeper. For me, I got to book 5. I read to the middle of that and I'm like, damn, this is pretty good. Put it down for a couple days. I came back later, finished the back end of book 5 and I'm like, fuck. Jumped into 6, read the entire number 6 and dove into 7. That's where it really kicked off for me. I don't want to say too much because that's definitely major spoilers if I start saying what happened in book 6. But just know, for me personally, y'all know I like that romance shit. That was the book that kind of did some shit for me. I just needed to point that out. We did read the manga. Might have been a bad idea, but as soon as I saw Thomicus go and buy the whole collection, I was like, man, you know what? I don't have a good manga that I plan on collecting through. Let me just start the Chainsaw Mans.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. We open the show with, I'm assuming it was Denji, and he's walking and he's breathing really heavy, kind of sounding like he was jerking off in a way. I was getting pretty concerned that my roommate was going to come knock on the door and ask if I was watching hentai again, when I was very well not watching hentai that one time. I was just watching Food Wars. So yeah, it's Denji. He's walking up to a door. He's breathing really heavy. And this will come back into play a couple of more times way later in the show. But just remember this. Denji is our main character. So as he wakes up, he heads to work, quote unquote. And on his way there, we learn that he has sold his kidney, an eye, and one of his testicles. And he has done all this to try and lessen the debt that he is in with the Yakuza. He owes the Yakuza like 38 million yen. And to also help, he cuts down trees with his dog, Pochita, and he ends up killing devils with Pochita. This is what he does to try and make money. Now, Pochita is the cutest thing that I've ever seen in any anime. He's a little he's a little orange dog. He's got a little chainsaw coming out of his head. If you don't like this dog, get out of here. Come
on, man. There was a plushie of Pochita.
Yeah, but it wasn't a good plushie. I would have bought it if it was a good one. God damn it. There's questions I want to ask you right now about him, but I can't because it's gonna spoil it for everyone else.
Oh yeah, it would probably be a spoiler.
100% what I want to ask. Typically, he says that devils' bodies are worth about 300,000. And here is where we see the first devil of the show. It's the tomato devil. So I know that some of these names are going to sound really corny, but despite their names being shit, they do look really cool. They kind of have like a Junji Ito feel to them. So really gory, and I don't know, they did a really good job with the devils.
Yeah, with the gore and plus with the animations that they went and the color for the show, I really enjoyed that.
That is one thing where like reading it is one thing, but when the show started, the style and just the way that they do the animations is freaking amazing.
It's like weird, but it's actually suits the anime. It's like a dark tone, and you don't want nothing colorful.
You don't want it to pop too hard, but they did it really good with the show considering that it's gonna be a gore show, you know?
Yeah.
And like we said, there's just the animation style. It had that feel for me like when I first watched Initial D, because you're not used to seeing cars be an anime and be the focal point. So when the camera turns, but like the world turns with it, you see a couple shots where Denji's running in this episode and he turns, but the camera does like a pan. I don't know. It just makes it feel like it's not 2D. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mainly leaning more to CGI, right?
It's just a little more technical than what we're used to. And I pray that the anime scene adapts that style a little more with other stuff, because once you get used to watching shows like that, you don't want to go back to the old flat 2D anime style. Like, I'm juggling this now that I'm watching this, and then I'm watching Komi Can't Communicate, and the two differences between those shows, it hurts my eyes to almost see.
Come on, man.
So after we see the Tomato Devil, boom, the intro rolls. And the intro song is pretty decent. It could have been a little bit better, but I'm positive that it's gonna grow on me. It's one of those songs that, like, I feel it. I
felt it too.
It's gonna definitely be one that I'll be singing probably within the next 4 episodes whenever you see me at work.
Yeah, it was like, I thought it was gonna be heavy metal.
Same. I didn't expect it to be what it is. I don't know. It's not the worst I've ever heard. It's also not the best.
But it's gonna grow.
It will grow. It'll probably end up being like a solid 7 or an 8 for me on the intro song rating. So
it's gonna keep on going up. It's gonna keep on going up.
It ends up being a 10. I don't think it'll end up being a 10. No way.
I don't know. Anime songs, like outros and intros, you find like, oh, it's not that great. But then like, as you continue,
they do grow. I did notice that, like, intros for animes and shit, I'll hear it the first time, I'll be like, yeah, whatever. And then like 2 weeks later, I'm like, just humming it, singing it. So maybe, we never know. So after the intro opens to Denji, he's pulling out Pochita's saw from the devil that he just defeated. It was the Tomato Devil, like I said. The leader of the Yakuza comes up and he's like, good work. That's gonna get you about 400,000. And Denji lights up. The Yaku guy says, well, after that, you owe, and the interest, that leaves you with about 170,000. And then after the finder's fee and the admin fees, management cost, and so on, you're left with about 70K. So this man's getting fucked.
Yeah, he's getting
completely fucked, dude. And he's walking home from work and he's thinking about the money, and he realizes that after all his other personal bills, he's only left with roughly 1,800 yen that will have to last him and Pochita for a month. So immediately they show us that our main character is extremely poor, and obviously because he is in so much debt to the Yakuza. And we slightly get to learn right here that it's not his own debt that he's in and he's trying to pay off, but it was his dad's. And they're going to get a little bit more into detail later on in this episode with that, but they just give us a little sneak peek. He's not paying off his own debt, it's his dad's. We wind up seeing just how hard up for money he is, as one of the Yakuza guys offers him 100 yen to eat a lit cigarette. And he does, he puts it in his mouth. Like, bro, are you that hard up for money? 100 yen is like $1. It's not even $1.
Well, did you see what he has to eat like every day?
Bread, because he's so poor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than a lit cigarette.
100 yen is something.
100? That's $1. What the fuck are you gonna buy with $1?
More bread.
You can't even buy a hot and spicy for $1. Oh, for all of you guys that aren't out here, not every state at McDonald's has hot and spicies. We're special, and we get some delicious shit called hot and spicies. Look it up if you're curious.
The true chicken sandwich.
The goat of chicken sandwiches. So back at his place, he and Pochita are in his shack. Now, when I say this dude lives in a shack, he lives in a fucking shack. A little tiny metal building. And they're eating a dry piece of bread. And he's telling Pochita about how he heard that people put jam on bread before eating it, further helping us understand just how poor he actually is. He even says normal life is just a dream for us, huh? And he says that if there were one dream that he could have come true, it would be to score with a girl before he died. And Pochita's just looking at him like, okay.
Okay. Tell me more.
He's like, I'm listening. So right here, we go into a flashback that helps us understand how he got into the situation that he's in with the Yakuza. So he's young right here. He's a child. And he's at his dad's grave site. And there's a car, like they're in a field. There's a car sitting beside him. Apparently his dad wound up hanging himself before paying what he owed for the month to the Yakuza. And out of the car, they tell Denji that he has until tomorrow to put together 700,000 700,000 yen, or they will cut him up and sell the bits.
Like, how the hell do you expect a kid to pay off that much money?
Yes, dude. 700,000 yen for a child is a lot of money. You think that that's when he sold? No, never mind, because they explain that a little later. I was going to ask if you thought maybe that's when he sold his kidneys and eyes as a kid, but that's definitely not it. That's definitely not, because I just thought about some shit that's about to happen. So they drive off and Denji hears the sound of like a little motor running and he's like, what? He looks to the side and he sees Pochita for the first time coming towards him and he's like, a devil? You know what? If you're gonna kill me, just do it, because I'm gonna die tomorrow anyways. But then he notices that Pochita is also hurt. I don't even know if Pochita's a boy or a girl. I always keep saying he, but I really don't know. For the sake of this conversation, I'm just gonna say he because it's easier for me, but it could very well be a girl. So Pochita's bleeding from its side and he offers Pochita to bite him and drink some of his blood because that's how devils can heal. So Pochita bites Denji and heals right up, and Denji says to it, this blood isn't free and this is a deal. I help you and you help me. And that is how their bond was formed. So right after that, we see a small little tiny devil get splattered onto the ground, and it's Denji throwing it in front of the Yakuza, and he says, why not hire me as a devil hunter? Because, you know, now he's got Pochita to help him do that. And that's how he gets into this situation with the Yakuza where he's basically killing devils for them, but for dog shit money, which is kind of sad. So yeah, he didn't sell his kidneys and eyes right here. As a kid, he got hired to be a devil hunter. So we cut back to present days in a shack, and it's nighttime and he's awake. He can't sleep because he's too hungry. He tells Pochita that his dreams of wanting to eat good food and flirt with girls, that he says like this dude's ultimate dream is just to be with a girl and to actually eat food. And throughout this series, I'll give you this small spoiler, this dude's a sucker for good food.
Yeah, bread with jam.
Bread, you got some jam with that? Hell yeah, I'll do anything you want. So he's talking to Pochita and he coughs and a little bit of blood comes out of his mouth. And he tells Pochita that his mom apparently died from a heart disease that made her cough up blood also. And as he's saying this, they hear a knock at the door. It's the Yakuza. They say there's another devil and that they need him to kill it and it's time for work. Which honestly, like, I understand he's in debt to the fucking Yakuza, but it's like, bro, it's 10:30 at night. Fuck off.
Exactly.
But I guess he's kind of in a position where he can't really say that to him.
Yeah, he really can't.
Or they'll kill him. Yeah. You know, this is one of the Japan's biggest fucking mafias. Just imagine, hey, you ready for work, bro? Fuck off. the amount of balls you would have to have. So they take him to a sketchy ass warehouse. And once they're inside, Denji's asking questions about the devil. He's like, is it hiding? Because I don't see anything. And the Yakuza leader starts talking and he says that they're grateful to Denji and that they appreciate how loyal he is, almost kind of like a dog. But then he says that he hates the stench of dogs. And then, right as he's saying this, boom, we see a sword go through Denji, and not just Denji, also Pochita. Not Pochita! My man got stabbed! So, one of the Yakuza people did this, stabbed him from behind, basically. And the leader turns to Denji and he says that even the Yakuza thinks about getting bigger and making more money. And we learn right here that they made a deal with the zombie devil. Yeah. Which is gonna be, this zombie devil is gonna really let everybody down. If you watch this episode, you know exactly what we're gonna be talking about. This particular devil, he wants devil hunters dead. So that explains why they stabbed Denji. Because at first I was confused. I'm like, okay, if the Yakuza wants to grow and make more money, like, what does it hurt them to just keep Denji around doing their work for him? But that's why. They're in a contract with the zombie devil now. Denji's a devil hunter. That zombie devil wants devil hunters dead. So they had to do what they had to do. And the power granted to the Yakuza seemed kind of like a shitty deal because they get power, but it winds up turning them into zombies. You know what I'm saying?
Why the zombie devil of all things?
That in my head, that is the worst devil. I'd rather get a deal with the fucking tomato devil. So Denji's stabbed, but he's not dead, right? He's still like moving. He tries to escape, but it's no good. They wind up catching up to him and they cut him into pieces and they throw him in the trash can. So inside the dumpster that they put him in, we see Denji and he's literally cut into pieces and Pochita's on the side of him. They're both dead. And by some miracle, a little bit of Denji's blood drips from his mouth into Pochita's mouth and that revives him. So Pochita wakes up and he has a small flashback. He remembers that Denji told him if anything were to ever happen to him, if Pochita was a devil that was capable of doing so, he wanted him to take over his body. That way, Pochita could live out a normal life. And he says, then make my dreams come true for me. So we go back to the dumpster and we see Denji's body kind of slowly regenerating thanks to the help of Pochita. Pochita like kind of forms into his body and he's making his limbs reattach and come back to life.
Pochita, no!
You hate to see it, but it's not like Pochita's gone in this show. Pochita is Denji at this point, you know? Like, we have Denji, sure, but when he's Chainsaw Man, that's Pochita on steroids, baby. So Denji, he wakes up and right here it's kind of like a hallucination, but it's him and Pochita having a small moment. And Pochita starts talking. Pochita says, I've always loved hearing you talk about your dreams. So here's the deal that I'll give you. I'll give you my heart, but in exchange, I want you to show me your dream. And I wonder if he's talking about the dream that Denji said he wanted to hook up with a girl before he died.
That and like all his upcoming dreams that he wants to do. And also it's basically a contract with Chainsaw.
Yeah, cause like Pochita is a chainsaw devil, sure. But like this seems like a really relaxed contract. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I also love that scene with him and Pochita.
When they were talking?
Pochita talking.
I was just laughing really hard because Pochita's like, and you show me your dream. And I just pictured Denji like smashing a chick and Pochita's inside of his body like, hell yeah. So we're going to get to some action here, finally. Denji comes out of the dumpster and he realizes that he's not hurt. But right here is kind of sad. He looks down and he notices Pochita's tail sticking out of his chest. This made me really sad because he's like, oh no, Pochita. Oh no. Once he steps out of the dumpster, the zombie devil is in shock and the zombie devil orders all of the Yakuza, who are now his slaves basically, after Denji. And Denji pulls the tail on his chest, but before he could morph, all the zombies get on top of him and they're biting him and shit. They're just a little too fast. But as they're gnawing at him and shit, we hear a motor and boom, out pops the chainsaw man and he goes wild, literally cutting everyone into pieces, including the zombie devil. Just slices this dude like it's no problem at all, which is the problem that we both, Thomicus and I, had with the zombie devil. They just didn't make him tough enough.
I want to say maybe the zombie devil is probably like the lowest ranking of the devils.
It had to be, because the way I looked at it is, right, in this show, before the zombie devil, he's already killed two. He killed the one as a kid, which was just a tiny, like, piece of shit one. And he killed the tomato devil, which was kind of big too. But this was his first fight with a devil as a devil. So they should have made it just a little bit tougher, you know?
Yeah, but I guess they didn't want to make it too tough.
I guess not, but like, bro, in my head, okay, he just got his powers, like, not 2 seconds ago. And he comes out swinging, absolutely knowing what to do. I wish they would have made it to where he struggles a little bit. He's like, trying to figure out how to work everything. Maybe gets fucked up a little bit by the zombie devil, but then he clicks and he's like, oh, this is fire, and then slices him. They could have did that better. That's really the only complaint with this episode that I truly have.
Just make a contract with the tomato devil.
Dude, 100%.
Ain't no ketchup on this hamburger? I gotcha.
Bro, free tomatoes for life. You can just eat your devil. After this absolute bloodbath, we see another car drive up to the warehouse and 3 people walk in and say, oh, someone got here before us. And they see the chainsaw man towards the back, which I have to admit, like, I put myself in those shoes of the 3 people. If I walked into a warehouse and saw that thing standing in the back of a warehouse, I'm leaving. Chainsaw man looks absolutely fucking terrifying. Out of the 3 people, the lady walks up to him. I can't say too much about her because we'll give spoilers, but just know, the queen. She says, you have a strange smell, not like a human or a devil. And he lifts his head and he's like, ugh. Hug me. And he kind of starts to fall over and she winds up catching him and she does hug him, which is kind of weird to me. Why would you just hug this guy with a chainsaw head? But okay. During the hug, his chainsaw head and his chainsaw arms, they melt off. And she goes, oh, he's human. So she tells him that she's a devil hunter with the public safety. And there's 2 options presented to him. Either get killed like a devil, she says, or I'll keep you as a human. I'll feed you and I'll make sure you're taken care of. Obviously, the thought of food entices Denji, and he's like, so what's for breakfast? She starts listing off a bunch of foods, and he's like, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds awesome. And then bam, credit roll.
We all know it wasn't just the food.
No, she's hot, bro. This lady is pretty hot. I'm gonna say her name. I don't think that spoils too much. Makima.
Makima, I call her Maki for sure.
Maki. It took me a while to remember her name. They didn't say it in this episode, if you guys are wondering, but like I said, we read the mangas. So when I was doing the notes for this, I was typing and I'm like, and then Makima walked in, and I'm like, oh wait. No, I can't say that. But her name is Makima. So now she's basically going to keep Denji because obviously he doesn't want to die. So it's going to be interesting to see what she has him do. And then the credit rolls, and then the first outro song of the season played, because remember, they have every episode has a different outro song, and it was pretty good. I give this outro song an 8 out of 10.
I give it an 8 out of 10 as well.
It was definitely one that I might put in a Spotify playlist and re-listen to. So, and that's pretty much the episode, man. I'll say that aside from the one issue I had with the zombie devil, this was almost a perfect episode.
For me, it could have been like an 8 out of 10 because of the zombie thing. But then, like, after he fought the zombie devil, I thought the zombies around the zombie devil would disintegrate. No, they were still there.
Well,
so
I mean,
he had to
that makes sense, though.
Them.
That makes sense because they're still people. They're just zombie people. Just because their leader dies doesn't mean they'll die.
True.
What was interesting about that, like him killing all the zombies after the devil, was all of those zombies were the Yakuza. So he basically took care of his problem.
Yeah, and the leader of the Yakuza.
Thank God, bro. But I'm pretty sure that the Yakuza will come back into the story a little later. I mean, no way they're just gonna get... I'm pretty sure. There's no way that they're just gonna get cut out that easy. It's the fucking Yakuza. Like I said, man, this started out for me as a perfect episode because it explains stuff pretty well. The vibes are nice with it. So I had it at a 10, but then the shit with the zombie devil came through and I'm like, that was kind of ass. So I dropped it down. I gave this episode a 9.
Yeah. Now, if it would have been doing like 9.5, yeah, I would have probably put it at like 9.5.
I mean, it's close. It's close, but it has to just get a solid 9 from me since our scale's like that.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good start for the season, man. It's coming in at a 9. I don't even think Rent a Girlfriend did that.
No.
Rent a Girlfriend started at 7s. And here we are on Chainsaw Man, literally episode 1 coming out blazing with a 9 from each of us.
Yeah, we already know it's gonna keep on going like that, probably.
Yeah, because I will say, just looking at it from the manga and looking at it like this, it is definitely picture for picture and basically word for word. The only difference, like I said earlier when we were talking, is like watching it in the show, sometimes you can see shit that you may have like overread in the book or just didn't catch. And of course the color palettes are nice, and just hearing them do the voices instead of me do the voices in my head. Pretty cool. In a way, we fucked ourselves, but also we kind of didn't.
Yeah, just fucking picturing you reading Maki's parts.
Bro, the queen.
U.S. Denji. What's to eat?
So, what's for breakfast? She's like pancakes, bananas, coffee. This bitch said salad for breakfast.
When It's Asylum went to sleep that night, he dreamt about that.
Bro, what you mean? Makima's my fucking wallpaper on my phone. The queen. Chizuru, take a seat, little lady. There's a new queen in town. And I'm going to say this because Thomicus knows something that I don't, because I didn't finish the mangas yet. I'm going to say this right here, now. Episode 1, by the time we're done with this season, she's still going to be my queen.
If you read the manga, don't spoil it for It's Asylum.
It's bad? Is it bad, y'all? Let me know down below.
Oh, it's...
Don't tell me what happens down below. Just put it's bad if it's bad, and then I'll know.
Bad, fucked up.
Well, I don't care if it's fucked up. Just like if it's really bad. I don't know. But there you go, boys and girls. That was episode 1. The boys are back in town. We are back at it. If you're listening to this, you obviously are hearing it on a Tuesday, which is what we're aiming for release with this season. We thought about maybe dropping them on Fridays, but the problem with that is it just overlaps. I didn't want to overlap. I want to drop the episodes when the show comes out with the next one. So you could theoretically listen to this podcast and then just watch episode 2 right after.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good. And honestly, because I thought they were dropping it on a Wednesday, which would have been a little tougher. They drop it on a Tuesday. That actually works out a lot better for us. So if only old Thomicus's internet can hang on for the rest of the season.
Oh my god, let's not talk about that.
So we hope you enjoyed the first episode. We're not going to talk about, and you know what we will. Just remember to drink that Alti baby. Use code Animag at checkout for 10% off your entire purchase.
And every purchase may save a Puccina.
Every purchase definitely saves a Puccita. Coming soon also, because now you can get custom cups from Alti, custom shakers. Maybe we'll get those custom Animag shakers soon and have them up for sale. Just saying, something to think about. But aside from that, we thank you for listening and we hope to see you around for episode 2. Until then, take it easy and so long, everybody.
Sayonara.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to visit our website at www.animag.org. See you next time.